Anyone who has been through a virus attacking their system knows all too well that it can be incredibly stressful. Strange as it may sound, the computer virus is something of an information age marvel. On the other hand, viruses show us how vulnerable we are. A properly engineered virus can have a devastating effect, disrupting productivity and doing billions of dollars in damage. On the other hand, it shows how sophisticated and interconnected human beings have become. What is a computer virus? Think of a biological virus, the kind that makes you sick. It's very nasty, keeps you from functioning normally, and often requires something powerful to get rid of it. A computer virus is very similar. Designed to relentlessly duplicate, computer viruses infect your programs and files, alter the way your computer operates, or stops it from working completely. Computer viruses are harmful software programs written intentionally to enter a computer without the user's permission or knowledge. Some viruses do little but replicate, while others can cause severe harm or adversely affect the program and performance of your system. A virus should never be assumed harmless and left in a system. What does a computer virus do? Some computer viruses are programmed to harm your computer by damaging programs, deleting files, or reformatting the hard drive. Others simply replicate themselves or flood a network with traffic, making it impossible to perform any internet activity. Even less harmful computer viruses can significantly disrupt your system's performance, sapping computer memory and causing frequent computer crashes. It's estimated that the conflicted virus infected more than 10 million computers in 2009. Tens of thousands of computer viruses now operate over the internet, and new computer viruses are discovered every day. Now, did you know? In 2010, the Stuxnet virus targeted Siemens Industrial Software and Equipment. The allegations are that this virus is part of a U.S.-Israeli intelligence operation named Operation Olympic Games, and it hit Iran's nuclear plant Natanz. There are many types of harmful programs. Experts estimate that the MyDoom worm infected approximately 250,000 computers in a single day in January 2004. Back in March 1999, the Melissa virus was so powerful that it forced Microsoft and a number of other very large companies to completely turn off their email systems until the virus could be contained. The I Love You virus in 2000 had a similarly devastating effect. In January 2007, a worm called Storm appeared. By October, experts believe that up to 50 million computers were infected. That's pretty impressive when you consider that many viruses are incredibly simple. There are different types of viruses which can be classified according to their origin, the techniques, the type of files they infect, where they hide, the kind of damage they cause, and the type of operating system on which they attack. In fact, there are 970 computer viruses on the website of Bitdefender alone. Let's have a look at some of the different types of viruses. You have a memory resonant virus. These viruses fix themselves into the computer's memory and get activated whenever the operating system runs and infects all the files that are then opened. This type of virus hides in the RAM, or random access memory, and stays there even after malicious code is executed. It gets control over the system's memory and allocates memory blocks through which it runs its own code and executes the code whenever any function is executed. Some examples are the Randex and Mr. Clunky viruses. And for your protection, install an antivirus program. We have direct action viruses. The main purpose of this virus is to replicate and take action when it is executed. When a specific condition is met, the virus will go into action and infect the files in a directory or folder that are specified in the autoexec.bat file path. This batch file is always located in the root directory of the hard disk and carries out certain operations when the computer is booted. There's also a find first, find next technique that is used when the code selects a few files as victims. It also infects the external devices like thumb drives and hard disks by copying itself on them. These viruses keep changing their location into new files whenever the code is executed, but are generally found in the hard disk root directory. It can corrupt files and is basically a file infector virus. One example is the Vienna virus. To protect yourself, you need an antivirus scanner. However, this type of virus has minimal effect on the computer's performance. We have overwrite viruses. A virus of this kind is characterized by the fact that it deletes the information contained in the file with effects, rendering them partially or totally useless once they have been infected. This virus replaces the file content. However, it does not change the file size. Examples of this virus are way, trj.reboot, and trivial.88.d. The only way to clean a file affected by an overwrite virus is to delete the file completely, thus losing the original content. However, this virus is very easy to detect as the original program becomes useless. You have your boot sector virus. This type of virus affects the boot sector of a hard disk. This is a crucial part of the disk, in which information of the disk itself is stored along with a program that makes it possible to boot the computer from the disk. This type of virus is also called a master boot sector virus or a master boot record virus. It hides in the memory until the DOS accessory accesses the floppy disk and whatever boot data is accessed. The virus infects it. Examples is polyboot B and anti-exec. And to protect yourself from this type of virus is to ensure that all floppy disks are right protected and never start your computer with an unknown floppy disk in the drive. Macrovirus. We have macroviruses infect files that are created upon certain applications or programs that contain macros like DOC, XLS, PPS, and PD. These mini programs make it possible to automate series of operations so they are performed as a single action, thereby saving the user from having to carry them out one by one. These viruses automatically infect the file that contains macros and also infect the templates and documents that the file contains. It is referred to as a type of email virus. These types of viruses hide in documents that are shared via email with networks. An example of these are Relax, Melissa A, and Babeless. The best protection technique is to avoid opening emails from unknown senders. Also, disabling macros can help to protect your useful data. We have a directory virus. Directory viruses are also called cluster viruses or file system viruses. Infect the directory of your computer by changing the path that indicates the location of the file. When you execute a program file with an extension .exe or .com that has been affected by a virus, you are unknowingly running the virus program while the original file and program is moved by the virus. Once infected, it becomes impossible to locate the original file. They hide out in only one location of the disk, but it affects the entire program in the directory. An example is dir2 virus. There is really no protection from this virus. All you can do is reinstall all the files from the backup, which you should have, that is not infected after formatting the disk. You have a polymorphic virus. Polymorphic viruses encrypt or encode themselves in a different way every time they infect the system. They make it impossible for antivirus software to find them using string or signature searches. The virus then goes on to create a large number of copies of itself. Examples are Elkhorn, Marburg, Satin Bug, and Tarig. For protection, you have to install high-end antivirus, as normal ones are incapable of detecting this type of virus. You have a companion virus. Companion viruses can be considered as a type of the infector virus, like resident or direct action types. They are known as companion viruses because once they get into the system, they accompany the other files that already exist. In other words, to carry out their infection routines, companion viruses can wait in a memory program until it is ran, or act immediately by making copies of themselves. They usually hide out in the same file name and create a different extension of it. For example, if there is an .me.exe file, the virus just creates another file called an me.com. It hides in the new file. When the system calls the file name me, the .com file gets executed because it has a higher priority than the exe, thus infecting the system. Examples of this one are Stater, Asimov, 1539, and Terax. Protect yourself. An antivirus scanner is recommended, and also download a firewall. We have a FAT virus. FAT stands for a file allocation table. It's part of a disk used to store all the information about the location of files, available space, unusable space, and so forth. FAT viruses hide out and attack the FAT section of your computer and may damage crucial information. It can be especially dangerous as it prevents access to certain sections of the disk where important files are stored. Damage caused can result in loss of information from individual files or even entire directories. An example of this type is the link virus. For some protection from this type of a virus, before the virus attacks all the files on the computer, locate all the files that are actually needed on the hard drive, then delete the ones that are not needed. It may be files created by viruses. We have a multi-partite virus. These viruses spread in multiple ways possible. It varies in its action depending upon the operating system installed and the presence of certain files. In the initial phase, these viruses tend to hide in the memory, as the resident viruses do. Then they infect the hard disk. Examples of this type of virus is Invader, Flip, and Tequila. If your computer gets infected with this type of virus, you will need to clean the boot sector and also the disk to get rid of the virus. Then reload all the data into your computer again. However, ensure that this data is clean. We have web scripting virus. Many web pages include complex codes in order to create an interesting and interactive content. This code is often exploited to bring about certain undesirable changes. Excuse me. The main sources of web scripting viruses are web browsers or infected web pages. An example of this type is a JS Fortnite. This is a virus that spreads through emails. To protect yourself, install a Microsoft Tool application. Worms. Now, Worms is a program very similar to a virus. It has the ability to replicate itself and leave the negative effects on your system. Excuse me. But they can be detected and eliminated by an antivirus software. They are usually spread through emails and networks. They do not infect files or damage them, but they replicate so fast that the entire network may collapse. Examples are PSW Bugware, Lovegate F. Install an updated version of antivirus. We have Trojans, or Trojan horses, if you wish. They're unlike viruses where they do not reproduce by infecting other files, nor do they self-replicate like worms. In fact, it is a program which disguises itself as a useful program or application. Another word for it is malware. And then we have logic bombs. They are considered viruses. They are not considered viruses because they do not replicate. They're not even programs in their own right, but rather camouflaged sections of other programs. They are only executed when a certain predefined condition is met. Their object is to destroy data on the computer once certain conditions have been met. Logic bombs go undetected until launch, but the results can be very destructive, and your entire data can be lost. Now we have viruses affecting Palm OS systems. The initial launch of Palm OS in 1996 and then the stable release in 2007 made way for attackers to write new malicious codes. These known viruses are affecting this type of operating system are Liberty Crack. It's a Trojan horse that deletes all your files and applications from PDA. We have PE Magic, which also deletes the ROM, Phage and Vapor, which delete files. When all said and done, though, there is no real threat to your PDAs as regard to virus attacks. There's still no evidence showing the amount of damage that these viruses can cause. We have virus affecting Symbian. The only virus that is said to affect the smartphones is the KBR virus. However, this virus runs in the background and drains the battery power. In fact, these viruses spread via Bluetooth is a proven myth. How does a computer virus find you? Even if you're careful, you can pick up computer viruses through normal web activities. Sharing music, files, or photos with other users, visiting an infected website, opening a spam mail or an email attachment, downloading free games, toolbars, media players, and other system utilities, or installing mainstream software applications without fully reading the license agreements. And the symptoms of a computer virus: your computer may be infected if you recognize any of these symptoms. Slow computer performance, erratic computer behavior, unexplained data loss, frequent computer crashes. If any of these things happen to your computer, you should seek some computer virus help and arm yourself with the best computer virus protection that you can afford and which is available to you. When you arm yourself with information and resources, you're wiser about computer security threats and less vulnerable to threat tactics. Take these steps to safeguard your computer. Make sure you have the best security software products installed on your computer. When you arm yourself with information and resources, you're wiser about Use an antivirus program and a firewall. Get an anti-spy program that you trust. Always keep your antivirus software up to date. Update your operating system regularly and increase your browser security settings. Only download software from sites you trust. Carefully evaluate free software and file sharing applications before downloading them and practice safe email protocol. Don't open messages from unknown senders and immediately delete messages you suspect to be spam. An unprotected computer is like an open door for computer viruses. Firewalls monitor internet office traffic in and out of your computer and hide your PC from online scammers looking for an easy target. There are many programs that provide complete protection from protection from the two most dangerous threats on the internet: spyware and computer viruses. They prevent threats before they can enter your PC. They stand guard at every possible entrance to your computer and fend off any computer viruses that try to enter, even the most dangerous and devious strains. Thank you. Good luck.